Hi everyone, I'm Neron. After I graduated from university, well, now I'm jobless. My life wasn't bad enough, so I decided I want to try making a game. Let me tell you a bit about myself. I majored in animation, where I used the pens and tears to create art. I had never written a single line of code in my life, but fortunately, I had some experience with 3D modeling and a bit of an understanding of drawing, just a little. After graduating, I decided to team up with one of my friends who majored in English, could draw a little, and has some knowledge of game design. As for me, I focused on modeling and programming. Put the right man on the right job, right? Pretty cool, huh? First thing to design, of course, I need a game engine. No way I go crazy enough to make one myself. Then my knowledge, which I don't have at all. Game engines are everywhere these days. One of them is Unreal Engine, which a lot of AAA studios use. It might not seem like the best choice for an indie game, but I think strong points are visual scripting system. And since I don't have coding knowledge at all, but I have some experience with Unreal Engine from doing animation projects in university, so I decided to go with it. At first, I don't know where to begin. Then I stumbled across something called a game jam. It's an event where developers or artists team up or solo to create a game based on a given theme within a limited time. I wasn't planning to join, but I found one with interesting theme, Road Trip Game Jam. The theme is pretty much what the name says. The game art style is planned to focus on pixel art 3D, but it might change later on. The game is set in the early 2000s and is heavily inspired by Road 96 and Pacific Dive. For the world settings, I really like the vibe of Silent Hill foggy streets with the light spreading through the mist. It looks beautiful but also creepy at the same time, so I went with a post-apocalyptic world covered in thick toxic gas. Players will take on the role of Nora, who is searching for her missing sister, Layla, following the only lead she has. However, the journey will be far from easy. Yeah, I know, the plot is pretty simple, but this monkey brain of mine can only come up with this so much. I have to thank my friend for designing the characters and refining the storyline, which brought this vision to life. You can check out his Blue Sky, so I put in the description. His art are pretty cool. Personally, I enjoy survival games though, but sometimes they lack a clear goal since they usually endless. So I combine the survival elements with a bit of roguelike mechanics. Nora needs to dive through a post-apocalyptic world filled with toxic gas. The goal is to survive and make it to destination. Resource like fuel and gas mask filter will be randomized every time you play. This game I call The End of the Road. Why? I don't know. It's just about the road and the end. I chose a first-person perspective because it avoids the hassle of creating a character models. I just use default first-person template for Unreal Engine and tweak it to my liking. Even though Unreal Engine has templates, they are a bit basic and stiff. I'm a big fan of Call of Duty 2019. The animations and the overall look and feel are really solid and satisfying. This kind of games often use a system called procedural animation, which combines math, code, and traditional animation to create smooth and natural movement. Of course, it's not all pure procedural animation. It mixes regular animations and adjusts them based on things like movement speed, camera sway, jumping, standing up, and crouching. As you can see in this shot, the character holding a gun while the left hand points toward that direction. For this example, I used IK bones mixed with animation. For those who not know what the IK is, it's honestly pretty hard to explain, but to put it simply, instead of manually moving each part of the limb, you just tell the program where you want the endpoint to be, and it calculates how to move everything for you. If you really want to understand it, I recommend watching this video. So I want to recreate something like that. I found a tutorial that really matched what I wanted. Also big thanks to this YouTube channel. Now I got a working system with walking, crouching, jumping, and more. But for now, I hidden the character model since I don't need it yet at this stage. Item interaction system, a core part of the game. Initially, I went with the classic hold item in your hand style, but I switched to a physics-based approach like in the Sword engine, and I added sound effects to make more immersively. I think you might recognize these sound effects. Don't worry, I'll replace those later. Even though Unreal Engine has something called a physics handle, the feeling of lifting heavy objects, like the heavier it is, the harder it is to lift. Or maybe you can lift it at all, require math to calculate. But since I've been bad at math since I was a kid, I tried asking ChatGPT but I don't understand at all. So I had to rely on a senior who's really good at coding. Big thanks to him. You might ask, why do it that way? Why not just check the condition based on the weight? Well, I wanted players to be able to drag heavy objects, but it would take more time to lift them than usual. This way it allows players to drag random heavy stuff around. The car is the heart of the game. Since my knowledge is limited, I copied Unreal car template and added a simple get in the car mechanic. It wasn't too difficult, right? Right? Then I added basic engine sounds. It's nothing as polished as a racing game, but it's good enough for me. I also added a fuel system where diving depletes your fuel and players have to find the fuel cans to refill the tank. When player lift a fuel can, its weight depends on how much fuel is left inside. Once it's empty, it becomes as light as the paper. The toxic gas is the main obstacle in the game. Players will have a gas mask with replaceable filters that deteriorate over time. You need to plan carefully because replacing a filter wastes the remaining portion of the old one. For players to be able to collect gas mask filters, there needs to be a system to keep track of them. Since the game only has a few items, it didn't seem necessary at first. However, I figured I might add more items in the future, so it would be a good idea to implement it now. I watched some tutorials on YouTube, but they were really long, so I thought, why not try to making it myself to save time? In the end, I kept redoing it over and over again. If I had just followed the tutorial, it would be done in 3 hours. Now I learned my lesson the hard way. Hunger is another challenge. Players will have to search for food and eat only when they back in the car, as the toxic gas make it unsafe outside. There are more systems I want to add, like dialogue interactions similar to visual novels, additional game concepts, equipment upgrades, and more, but I save those ideas for later. I know my game isn't groundbreaking or anything. I originally wanted to finish the entire game and share everything at once. Don't expect too much from this game, as it's my first project, but I try my best to finish it. My dream is to release it on Steam someday. Honestly, I'm worried about scroll creep, but hopefully that won't happen. Maybe. I just want to test my speaking skills and my editing style for a devlog. Since I'm not really fluent in English, I had to write the script and translate it. If there are any mistakes or suggestions for improving my game, feel free to let me know. Thank you and see you in the next devlog. Actually, I started editing this video about 6 months ago, so a lot of things had happened since then. In fact, I also made a game during the road trip game jam. I'll be posting a devlog soon to share the journey, how it came together. Stay tuned. Also, don't forget to try our game on itch.io. You can download for free or play it on browser. You can find the link in the description.